Welcome back, everyone. So I apologize. I thought the last two worksheets were actually our last ones, but I found this one. I'd completely forgotten about space, but luckily this one doesn't take us very long at all. So if we can go through this very quickly, we can get back to our notes and then get back on our plan so that we can start on our posters. I'm hoping that with our notes today, we should actually be able to start midday tomorrow and on Friday. So one, I need your name up on top. Class period. Today we are talking about space. This is our last art element that we haven't covered yet, and space is defined as the area within, around, above, or below an object. So for two-dimensional art, 2D, it uses illusions to trick our eye to make the picture feel as if it has space. So if I have a picture up on the wall, think in your mind, and it looks like I can walk down that road. It feels like I can pick up that picture. That artist is using the art element of space to feel as if you are in that picture and can interact with it. So there's a couple of tricks to creating the illusion of space. One is size. If it is larger or appears closer, we are using that to trick our eye to feel like they're utilizing size as making it feel like it has some depth. So in this rectangle right over here, I need you to draw one shape that is small and one shape that is larger. So I'm going to draw myself a nice circle and a smaller circle right next to it. So I have a big and a small. 2, we have overlapping. This is partially covering an object. So if I have my hands that are overlapped, I know that I have two hands here, but at the same time, part of it I can't see. So, for instance, we are going to take a shape and overlap it with another. So I'm going to go take this rectangle and overlap it with part of a circle. I know that that circle's there, but at the same time it got cut off by the edge of this rectangular square. Last but not least, we have placement. So, whenever things are closer to the horizon line, they appear further away and vice versa. So a horizon line is just wherever the sky and the land touch together. So up here's my sky, here's my land, here's the horizon line where they connect. So if things are further away, they are closer to the horizon line. They're also typically smaller. So in this box, it asks, which of these shapes looks like it's closest to you? It will end up being this guy. Because one, it's bigger, but it's also closest or furthest away from this horizon line. Flip it over real quick. Our next one is atmospheric perspective. Most of you guys have not used this before, but at the same time you've seen it. So if I look out on a dusty day, those objects look like they're receding by losing color, brightness, and detail. Let me turn down my music real quick. So, because this is closer to us, because we used our overlapping, that will 1, have more value, and 2, have more detail. So we are going to use mostly value for this, but you can also add like trees or grass or something like that, because on these hills or mountains, this one is closest to us. So 1, I'm going to go at a 4 or 5 and shade this in. Try to catch all my white spots. Okay, because we used overlapping, we look to the next one that's right above it, and this is the one that we do just a little bit lighter at a 4 or 3. Again, we go to our next one and make it a little bit lighter. So we should be at a 2. And last but not least, the lightest value that you can get when your hand is all loosey-goosey. You might not even be able to see it on the recording, it's so light. Okay. And then we have our sky above it. So with shading, you guys should be very comfortable with this at this point. So all you're doing is adding light and shadow to an object. So for our example, we pop in that number 2. Because our sun's closest right here. 3. And 4. A 3 again. And then our 5 to finish out our shadow. Last but not least is linear perspective. Linear perspective we are actually going to have a full project on, so just getting you guys to dip your toe in the water, we're going to start talking about it today. So linear perspective uses lines that converge on a vanishing point to show realistic space. So when lines are converging, they're coming together to get closer and end at one point. A vanishing point is where all these lines come together and end on your horizon line. So whenever you guys used to draw your houses, you used to do a rectangle or a square, and then you would pop a little triangle on top. So today we're taking that a step further. We're taking all of these lines back to our vanishing point. The reason why we don't do these over here is because I am touching on the inside of the object itself, and because it's 3D, I cannot draw those lines because it's not a see-through house unless it's made out of glass. To finish it, I would mimic or copy the same angle right here for the top of the roof, and then I would use the side of the wall to connect to where the roof ends. Now because this is in the copy machine, I can't erase it, but these lines would go away. That way I have a freestanding house. So for your guys' one over here, I have circled the 3 that you need to bring back to your vanishing point. So I start at the top of the roof and I draw it. The bottom of the roof, the bottom of the house, connect those 3 back to the vanishing point. Once you have that complete, copy the roof pitch and the side of the wall. So I have the roof pitch and the wall that connect on those lines. Once I have those, I erase out those converging lines that go back to the vanishing point so that now I have my freestanding house. So now I can start adding details like doors, windows, stuff like that, shingles, so that I know that I got a nice pretty house to live in. Stuff like that. Okay, so this worksheet is done now that you have finished all of that. Then we are going to start on our notes. We're going to go flip over to the principles of art. So before, we've been talking about our elements. These are just little pieces of a puzzle. With our art principles, we are taking those pieces of the puzzle and organizing them into our final pictures. So if you need any help or have any questions, please call me over with your hand and I'd be glad to help you out. Thank you for watching.